Welcome to Diplomatic Channel. The IMF World Bank spring meetings are underway in the United States, Washington, D.C. specifically. While global economic outlook is promising, the financial leaders still took time to address protectionist policies in the United States as announced by President Donald Trump.
It has begun. The Trump administration's campaign to buy American and hire American launched on Tuesday in Wisconsin. President Trump ordered federal agencies to look at tightening a temporary visa program used to bring high-skilled foreign workers to the United States. The document, known to the White House as the Buy American and Hire American order, also seeks changes in government procurement that would boost purchases of American products in federal contracts with the aim of helping U.S. steel makers.
For too long, we've watched as our factories have been closed and our jobs have been sent to other faraway lands. We've lost 70,000 factories since China joined the World Trade Organization, and you've seen that, you've heard about it. 70,000. The World Trade Organization, another one of our disasters. But this election, the American people voted to end the theft of American prosperity. They voted to bring back their jobs and to bring back their dreams into our country. Thank you very much. So we're going to sign, and this is a very important signing.
By Thursday, the president had signed a memorandum ordering the Commerce Department to conduct a speedy probe into the impact of steel imports on U.S. defense industrial base at a time when he's ordering new ships, planes and tanks to be built.
Maintaining the production of American steel is extremely important to our national security and our defense industrial base. Steel is critical to both our economy and our military. This is not an area where we can afford to become dependent on foreign countries. We have product where we actually need foreign countries to be nice to us in order to fight for our people. And that's not going to happen any longer, believe me, especially as it comes to steel.
Not far from the White House at the IMF World Bank spring meetings, the president's messages were ringing clear, but did not deter the IMF from presenting a hand of friendship. The Trump administration could be expanding protectionist policies, but would not be isolated by the rest of the world.
Steel, and that's beginning immediately.
IMF Director Christine Lagarde said she had every reason to believe the IMF and the Trump administration could cooperate to improve the global trading system.
You know, the IMF is not the trade organization, but we are concerned about trade because it has been a major engine for growth, and it's actually one of the pillars of prosperity and growth going forward. So we certainly will be looking at how we can participate in that, how we can continue to support the growth of trade, and how it can be done in the most efficient, fair and global way as possible.
On Saturday, members of the International Monetary Fund said they are aligned on the need to achieve free and fair trade.
There is no country in the world that doesn't have any sort of proviso restriction on trade. So instead of dwelling with what that concept means, we managed to sort of put it in a, I would say, more positive and more constructive framework, and the membership agreed to counsel against inward-looking policies and stressed that we should work to strengthen the contribution of trade to our economies.
During a news conference later, Japanese Finance Minister Taro Aso said he does not think the G20 debate on trade will lean toward favoring protectionism over free trade ahead of the group's summit in July. He also said he believed the United States was not saying that protectionism is good, but that it would put its national interest first.
And here are other discussions in diplomatic circles. Pope Francis has called on world governments to take migrants and refugees out of holding centers, some of which he has described as concentration camps. He also said some international agreements on migrants violate human rights. The Pope said this when he visited Rome Basilica, where he met families of refugees. He, however, praised countries that have helped refugees and urged people in northern Italy to take more migrants in the hope the generosity of southern Italy could rub off on them. U.S. Defense Secretary James Mattis is on a 5-day tour of the Middle East, visiting Saudi Arabia for a meeting with King Salman and other senior members of the kingdom's political and military leadership. On Friday, he was in Israel for a brief meeting with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to discuss regional threats and opportunities. During a press briefing with his Israeli counterpart, Avigdor Lieberman, he said Syria has dispersed warplanes in recent days and retained chemical weapons, an issue he believed will be taken up diplomatically.
I think it's important that we remind ourselves that if good people don't band together, then bad people can do a lot of damage in this world. And we're committed to stopping that and doing whatever it takes to pass on peace and freedom to the next generation.
This has been appreciated around the world and in our region. I think this is a welcome change, a strategic change of American leadership and American policy.
On Saturday, he was in Qatar meeting with the Emir of Qatar in Doha, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, who hosted a banquet in his honor.
See old friends and reinforce relations.
The Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi has called on all sides to make voices of peace and reason on the Korean Peninsula issue and reiterated China's consistent and definite stance on denuclearizing the peninsula. Wang made the statement when asked about the situation of the Korean Peninsula at a joint press conference with his Greek counterpart Nikos Koutsias. China's stance on the issue of the Korean Peninsula is constant and definite and will not change, says Wang Yi, which means adherence to realizing denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula and adherence to maintaining peace and stability of the Korean Peninsula. Therefore, he says, peace must be applied to solve the nuclear issue of the Korean Peninsula. He also said, though China is not the focus of the current contradiction, nor the hold of the key to the Korean Peninsula nuclear issue, China has always been committed to restoring peace talks with an attitude responsible for peace on the Korean Peninsula and regional stability. He said China has made a reasonable recommendation which has received the understanding and support from an increasing number of countries. That's the program this week. I'm glad you could join us. To express your views or make comments, tweet at Diplomatic Chan or at Amarachi_Ubani. I'll see you next time. Goodbye now.